By the end of today's episode, you'll know how to spot when an agent is double dipping and what to do if it happens to you. Welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we help aspiring screen actors find high-quality auditions, sign with great agents, and book major roles in legit productions. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and today I'll be covering what double dipping actually means, why it's generally unfair to actors, and how to protect yourself from it happening. So, what is double dipping? Well, basically, it's when you take a tortilla chip, you dip it into the salsa bowl, bite it, and then dip it back into the same bowl again. You might as well be dunking your entire face into the bowl. I'm just kidding. That's kind of a Seinfeld bit. That's one form of double dipping. But what I'm talking about today is what happens when an agent double dips into their commission. So this is basically when they take commission from both the actor and the production company for the same job. If it's not clearly outlined in advance in a contract, then double dipping is not only unethical, but it's often against union rules. It can hurt you, the actor, because you earn less money. Here's what it looks like. So let's say an agent gets 10 to 20% from you as commission. Then they secretly or openly also charge the production company a separate fee, which can sometimes be called a packaging fee. That second payment can create a conflict of interest because now the agent is more loyal to the production than to you. So why is this a problem? Well, number one, it's because your best interest isn't first. So if your agent is making money directly from the studio, then they might wind up pushing you into a role that benefits them more, not you. And they might also not negotiate your contract as hard because they don't want to ruin their chances of getting their double commission from the studio, right? Another thing is that you're paying out more than you should. You might be paying full commission when your agent is already being paid elsewhere, which is kind of not fair. It's also generally considered shady behavior if they're not telling you about it. That is particularly true if they're not telling you about a part, right? Some agents are very upfront about this, and if you're okay with it, fine. But I would generally rather you sign with an agent who does not engage in double dipping because they're probably going to have better quality clients and can get you better auditions, right? Because the reason for this is if an agent typically double dips and does this sort of thing, they're oftentimes not going to sign on good quality actors because the better actors won't want to work with them. And so because they don't have good actors, they're not going to have good connections to casting directors, and they're not going to be able to get the clients that they do have into good productions. So if you sign on with an agent who does not engage in double dipping, they probably have better actors, and thereby they have better relationships with casting directors and can get the clients that they sign with better opportunities. It's kind of a trade-off though, because it also becomes harder to sign with those better agents, right? Because they have so many good clients. So it's sort of up to you. But how do you protect yourself? Well, first off, before you sign with an agent, you do want to ask or make sure that it's clearly outlined in the contract how they get paid. Okay, a good agent is going to be upfront about this. You want to check the contract and look for wording like packaging fees or additional compensation. You can also join a union to protect yourself, right? So if you're in SAG-AFTRA, agents are not allowed to double dip. The union oftentimes helps enforce that. You can also ask other actors, right? Word of mouth, that's a powerful thing. So you want to see whether others have had a good experience with that same rep. So to wrap up, agent double dipping is when they get paid by both the actor and the production company for the same gig. It's not really fair. It can cause conflicts of interest, and it may even break certain union rules. Be sure to ask questions, read your contract, and don't be afraid to speak up. If an agent double dips, but you still want to consider working with them, then be sure that whatever contract you sign gives you an out at any point so that you can get a new agent down the line if you're unhappy with the relationship. Remember, the best agent works for you, not for themselves, and definitely not for the studio behind your back. Thanks for listening. Now, if you want to dive even deeper on agency fees and commission structures, I highly recommend checking out a podcast I did called A Breakdown of Fees That Legit Agents Should Take. This is episode number 5. So way back in the day when the podcast was still new, there was no video version of the podcast and the sound quality may not have been as good, but it's helpful information. I dive deep on scams and I talk about how payments should work with most reputable agencies and managers. Okay, again, it's episode number 5. It's called A Breakdown of Fees That Legit Agents Should Take. Now, I want to read a kind review that I recently got from a username Hi is Luna. It said, "This is a mine of gold. I found this podcast as a recommendation from a friend of a friend. I'm just starting as an actor, and this podcast has been so helpful to me. I've learned a lot, and it makes me feel like my dreams are possible and achievable." Thank you for that kind review. And if you found the podcast helpful, I would really appreciate if you could leave a review. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment, like, and subscribe. Those actions really do help me get the videos in front of more people. And I do my best to actually respond personally if you do leave any comments. I don't have a ton of subscribers because I haven't really done YouTube for a while. So as of right now, if you leave a comment on YouTube or ask a question there, I'll probably try to respond personally to it. Okay. Those types of actions do help more actors find the podcast. And if you choose to leave a review for the podcast, you can go to ratethispodcast.com/actorsuccess, and I'll try to read your review out loud in an upcoming episode. Okay. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.